Hi everybody, Mark the Happy Griller Guy, and I'm back with a great little burnt ends recipe. If you've ever had burnt ends before, usually they're chunks cut from a brisket that was smoked, and then they're re-smoked, put in a barbecue sauce, maybe a rub, and they should be melt in your mouth. Well, I like to do that too, but I like my little shortcut. I'm going to use a chuck roast. And chuck roast is usually a little less expensive. I can usually get smaller cuts, so I can do it a lot quicker than if I was doing a big 3 or 4 pound. And it comes out absolutely fantastic. So basically, I'm just going to take my chuck roast. This is actually under 2 pounds. I've got my A-Smoke grill warming already. I'm going to get it up to about 225 because I want to do a nice low and slow smoke on this until I get this up to over 190. We'll talk about that out there. I've got my rub here. Basically, my rub is a bunch of different things like ground pepper. I've got onion powder. I've got garlic powder and a couple other secret recipes. As I've mentioned before, smoking-meat.com will give you a lot of those great things. I'm not attached to it, but they do a great job and I swear by it. So I'm going to do a little bit of rub on this guy. And basically, if you watch, I'm not going to put anything else on this this chuck roast. Some people like to put a little bit of mustard. They'll do a yellow mustard or something so the rub will stick. If you can see, as I'm doing this, it's sticking pretty well. I never get a taste from that mustard if I've ever done or when I've ever done that mustard, but I just like to minimalize everything that I'm doing. I like to make it easy. All I'm doing is making sure that every part of this has this rub on it. And I know some people might go a little forward and inject this with something. I'm not going to do that. Again, this chuck roast is going to be so juicy and come out so great. It is all we need. All right, I'm going to wash these hands. We're going to go out to the grill. We are back out at the grill. I've got my little A-Smoke going. It's about 225. That's what I'm going to smoke on today. Got my chuck roast on the grill. I've got my thermometer in there. I'm going to check the temperature. Right now, my temperature of the meat is about 51 degrees. So we're going to try to get that up past 190 because we're going to make our poor man's burnt end. So I'm going to close this up and we're going to have a good smoke. We'll get right back to you. Hi, everybody. We're back. And I've got just about 5 hours in on our smoke. There's our little guy. My temperature is right at 200, so I took it up just a little higher. And I'm going to take our little temperature out there. And we're going to call this smoke done. And look at that crust. What a great crust. Let me hold it over here. I know I'll drop it. But what a great crust on that. Now we're going to take it in, we're going to cube it up, and we're going to bring it back out here, and we're going to continue with our burnt end. Stay with me. Well, forgive me if I admire it just for a little bit. It is beautiful. You know, that bark is absolutely fantastic. But we're going to make this into burnt end, so we've got one more step before we get it back in the smoker and get this even more melt in your mouth than it is right now. I want you to see what I'm doing instead of me. So there I am. Let's get this guy cut up, and what we're going to do is just cut this into some nice squares. And you can see me doing this. I'm going to go ahead and put these in a pan. I'm going to do all my cooking inside this pan right now. And what I want to do with this is first, I'm going to get a little bit of rub. And we're just going to sprinkle a little bit more of our rub over this. And then, the little activator, I'm going to put some of our barbecue sauce. And it doesn't matter how much you put in there. I squeeze it to cover. And then what I'm going to do, again, nothing you can do other than get your hands in here. And what I'm trying to do is just coat it all with my barbecue sauce. And once I get it all coated, you see I've got the hard, crunchy outside on some of it. And then we're going to get it so these are melt in your mouth. So I'm going to get these ready, put them back on our grill for just another maybe hour, hour and a half. Let's see how tender they get, and we'll see what comes out. And there we have it, everybody. About 6 3/4 hours of smoking time today into our burnt ends, and they look fantastic. Don't let the name fool you. They're not burned up. They are just as tender and hopefully melt in your mouth. But again, poor man's burnt ends. Made them out of the chuck roast instead of a regular old brisket. But they came out absolutely fantastic. I know they're going to be melting in your mouth. Let's do a little try here and see. They've got like a crust on the outside and all that barbecue sauce. Let it cook for another 2 hours. Oh, that is amazing. This, you have to try this. I hope you love this recipe. If you did, make sure you comment at the bottom. Subscribe to see a lot more recipes, a lot more of my shortcuts. Mark the Happy Griller Guy. Have a great night.